Hello everyone, this is Dan Gramza, and welcome to Gramza Market Studies for Wednesday, January 6th. Yesterday we talked about looking at that action as being relatively quiet. We were not looking for a big day yesterday, and really across these indices it behaved properly in the sense of the size of moves that we've had, the type of structures that we saw. That's fine. The issue now is going to be today and tomorrow. That's where I think the meat of the action is. So what do we want to see? Well, we want to see this market moving with some conviction. We'd like to see it moving, in this case for the NASDAQ market, closing above 1900. That's the kind of action that we'd want to see in today's movement. Where are we going to get it? I don't know if we're going to have the fundamental excuse to cause the market to move that way, but that's the kind of price action ideally we want to see. And talk about price action, let's look at these currencies. The euro continues to squirm back and forth here. You know, this market did reach magnitude objective, for example, and then it gave us a scratch. Right now there would be no position in that market. Very neutral stance. We kind of expect that to continue. Again, I think this market needs an excuse. The Swissy, kind of in the same boat, had a nice move here. Did reach magnitude objectives also and came back to that scratch phase. So right now it would imply buyers are trying to come back into that market, but I really look for a down day today in that market. Same thing for the euro. Japanese yen did come back through that buy point, and the result of that would have been 220 ticks, or $2,750 would be the dollar value of that move. And I'm telling you that just to give you a feel for how the dollars and cents relate to these charts that we're looking at. And so what are we looking for in this market? A potential struggle. I don't think this is a layup. I don't think buyers are coming in here with both hands either. It's 50-50 in terms of how Japanese yen behaves. We're finding some sellers in the Aussie. And if you notice, that red line's getting tighter. I think we need to respect that. 91 cents is a big deal for that market. British pounds struggling. It did move lower, but today, do we get follow through? I don't really see that happening for that currency. We're expecting a smaller range day today for British pounds. Canadian dollar, this has gotten high enough to find sellers as well. It is very bearish, although in Asia it's a little firm right now, but this is bearish. And we want to be cautious on the long side for that market. Today is going to be critical for the Canadian dollar. And when it comes to the interest rate markets, we're seeing the short end of the curve getting firmer as it continues to find buyers at these levels. Notes did trade back through that buy point. Let me tell you something about that market. That difference between the red line and the green line, so if someone had sold that and purchased it back at the green line, that difference would be $1,437.50. What are we looking for now in this market? I'd be cautious on the long side. I don't think this is a confident move for this market or for the bonds. So I think on the 10-year and 30-year, we want to be very cautious on the long side for those markets. In other words, we expect them to back off. This behavior is not a sign of confidence. Now, metals, gold, silver, and copper. We're looking for follow through to the upside in each one of those markets. Yesterday's action in gold, we did find sellers at these higher prices, and the same thing for silver. And we're seeing a little bit of buying coming in here in Asia, but I think that's what we should expect for today's action. In other words, it could be a day to buy the break. And the same thing in copper. I know you're probably tired to hear me talking about copper, but I do like this market, and I am looking for follow through in that as well. It's going to be important to see that today and tomorrow, I think, will determine the fate on Mr. Copper. And when it comes to the energy markets, crude oil is moving along, but notice it's slowing down here a bit at 82. Now, yesterday's action, we did not look for a big move. It really rests on what it does today and tomorrow. Nothing telling us to abandon a long position, but we need to be very cautious again at these levels. Natural gas, this is a market, as I mentioned to you back here. And actually, when we had this, I said it implies a beginning of a sideways market, and I'm really looking for a continuation of that behavior. There's nothing here indicating that we're going to get a strong move. And right now, we're expecting it to bounce back and forth. It needs an excuse as well. Now, the grains we look for in the beans, more of the same. They're trying to buy the breaks. This is a big deal at these levels, so we need to see some follow through. I'm not so sure that today will give that to us, but that's the kind of behavior we're looking for. A healthy move to the upside today and tomorrow is important. Otherwise, it changes the outlook longer term for that market. Same thing here for corn. We're looking for follow through in that market, but it's really a 50-50. It's in a neutral zone for that market. Wheat, on the other hand, has gotten high enough to find these sellers, but I still think that this has got a little potential push here to the upside. And it's going to be important today, again, to see that, if we're going to see that kind of conviction. Well, this concludes today's market studies. I hope you found a few ideas helpful, and I'm looking forward to being with you again tomorrow. And in the meantime, take care.